All right, welcome everyone. So, if you're going to be an information professional, there's one thing you absolutely have to understand. How do people actually figure things out when they don't know something? That's what we're digging into today.
So let's just start with something we've all been through, right? You know that feeling when you're facing a problem and you don't know the answer you need? It could be for a huge research paper or maybe something as simple as trying to figure out a new app on your phone. It's a feeling we all get. That feeling, that little gap in what you know, well, that's what kicks off a journey. It's basically a quest for information. And for us, for people in our field, understanding the map of that quest, well, that's our job. It's how we help people get to where they need to go. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to start with a really powerful way to think about this whole quest. And it comes from some of the foundational work by Brenda Dervin. Dervin has a name for this whole process. She calls it sense-making. And look, this isn't just some dry academic theory. It's really about a basic human drive, right? It's our need to create some kind of clarity when we're confused, to find a little bit of order when everything feels chaotic and unknown.
Okay, so how does this sense-making actually work in the real world? This is where it gets really interesting. Dervin's model breaks down basically any information need you could think of into just three core parts. Simple, but super powerful.
So here it is. Every single time you need information, you start in a situation. That's just where you are right now. Then there's the gap. That's the thing you don't know. And finally, there's the outcome. That's where you want to be. The student thesis example here is great, right? Situation, assigned a thesis. Gap, no topic. Outcome, finished paper. But think about it. This is everything. It happens all day, every day.
And here's the key metaphor, the big idea I really want you to take away from Dervin's model. The user, the person looking for information, their goal is to build a bridge across that gap. And our job, as information professionals, we're the architects, we're the engineers, we're the ones handing them the tools to build that bridge. Okay, so how do people actually do it? How do they build this bridge? Because let's be real, it's not always as simple as just Googling something, right? Dervin actually points out a few different strategies people use to make sense of things. And this is what I find so fascinating. It shows that information seeking is way more than just, well, seeking. Of course, there's the classic seeking information. That's our bread and butter in the library world. But people also create new information. They might challenge what's already out there. And get this, sometimes the best strategy is actually avoiding information. And the key thing is, all of these are totally valid ways to build that bridge. So Dervin's model is amazing for understanding the landscape of the quest, right? The what and the why. But what does it actually feel like for the person who's crossing that bridge? What's going on inside their head? What's their emotional journey like?
To answer that, we need to turn to another giant in the field, Carol Kolthow. Her model is the perfect complement to Dervin's because it maps out the emotional roller coaster of the information search process.
Yeah, the keyword for Kolthow's model is phenomenological. Fancy word, but all it means is that it's focused on the experience of the person. It's not just about the abstract ideas, it's about what the searcher is actually thinking, feeling, and doing every step of the way. So Kolthow breaks this journey down into 6 stages. It all starts with initiation. That's just the moment you realize, I need to find something out. Then you move into selection and exploration, where you're kind of just poking around. Then comes the big one, formulation. This is that aha moment where a clear focus starts to form. After that, it's all about collection, and finally, presentation. Okay, and this is the real game changer. Kolthow connects each of those stages to an emotion. Think about it. At the beginning, you feel uncertain, maybe even anxious. Then when you're exploring, it's easy to feel confused or doubtful. But then, bam, you hit formulation, and suddenly there's clarity, there's optimism. And from there, you build confidence as you collect your information. So let's bring it all together. Why do these models matter? I mean, for you as a future librarian or information professional, why is it so important to know both Dervin's landscape and Kolthow's journey? Because when you put them together, you get the whole story. Dervin gives you the map, the what and the why of the person's quest. But Kolthow, she gives you the emotional weather forecast for that journey. She tells you how it's going to feel for them along the way. And that right there is what lets you provide amazing service. Now you can actually empathize with the user's anxiety. You can look at someone who's totally confused and say, hey, that's completely normal. You're right where you're supposed to be. This is exactly why we do what we do in libraries. It's not just about showing someone a database. It's about supporting them through this entire emotional and intellectual journey.
So in the end, that's your role. You're a guide for this quest. You're part architect, part engineer, and maybe most importantly, you're the friendly guide helping people get from one side to the other. So the big question I'll leave you with is, how are you going to use this knowledge to help the next person you meet build their bridge?